I want to do an orientation to the new way that we've got the pediatric code cart set up. Remember, this is a more sophisticated version. It's only stored in the emergency department code cart and in the ICU Braslow code backpack thing that they've got there. So for any pediatric code, you're going to be responding with the drugs from one of those central locations. So the thing's sealed up with like a plastic baggie now instead of those red plastic seals. And the way to get into this thing is just to take a hold of both ends. It's got like a very slightly perceptible perforation around the edge. And you can, if you just grab both sides of it and tear, you'll find the spot and it'll open for you. So just go like that and then you're in. So to start off with, I'm going to get rid of the packing list. This isn't a charge sheet or anything like that. You don't have to write anything down on this. You can just get rid of it. And probably the most important addition is this dosing card mock-up thing, where pretty much every drug in the card is going to have its own color-coded dosing system in which you can get down right to the milliliters of drug for whatever color the kid is. So don't you have to bother with any kind of calculations. You have to say like, oh, they're 11 kilograms or 19 kilograms. Just go to the color. The color will be your guide, and then the bottom row has the volume of drug you're going to be using. Like in this case for adenosine, it actually lists 2 volumes because, again, that first dose is half of what you give for the second dose. Okay? And then when you flip the thing around, it will have little extra tips, if you have time to read anything more about it, if there's any special tips about diluting it, or how to give it, it'll be on here. Like for instance, here it says, in adenosine, some people have found it doesn't work that great intraosseously because it's got to be, pushed so fast and get to the central circulation so fast to work. So those are the dosing cards. They're all pretty much in alphabetical order by generic. Everything's crammed in here pretty tight, as you can see. There's just not a lot of room for everything at this point. We also added more EPIs. There used to be just one in there. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the little bag of standardized equipment with small syringes. And the most important thing I want to show you is this syringe-to-syringe connector thing, which is going to make it easy on you for preparing those very small doses. So what I'm going to do is open up an epinephrine here, and I guess the dose that I'm going to need is, let's say my kid is, in the red zone. So my dose volume is going to be 0.85 milliliters of the $1 to $10,000, or $1 to $10,000. My dose is going to be 0.85 milliliters of the 1 to 10,000 epinephrine. So I've got that here. I've cracked open the thing. This is really not very suitable for measuring out, 0.85 milliliters whatsoever. But I'm going to go ahead and connect it just as normal. So they don't really make pediatric concentrations of drugs for the most part. So it's always pretty much just the adult concentration in here. So anyway, here's the syringe-to-syringe connector. I take it out of the package. Screw it on to your drug, like this. Then take the syringe you want to use. In this case, I'm going to use this little 1cc guy, so I can be real precise. Screw that into the other end, and now you can pretty much just draw the drug out like that. I'm just kind of pushing it into the syringe, or you can draw it out like that. Let's see, I've got an air bubble, so I need to get rid of that. That's a lot of air. Okay. So again, just push it right down to 85 units on the insulin syringe. That is my epi dose. And you can just keep drawing out of there, after you give that. If you need to try again, you can just kind of use this as a multiple dose form thing. Again, 0.85, push it in. So these things are a pretty cool deal. All right, so the next thing that we want to show off is the fact that for some drugs, they recommend a half concentration solution for a really tiny kid. These are like your highest osmolarity solutions. It's the dextrose and the bicarbonate. And so if the kid is like of a certain size, they say, oh, you got to give the half strength stuff. So here's how we deal with that. Let's say that they're calling for bicarb, or sodium bicarbonate in here, right? And so what you'll see is as you're looking through the dose things, if you've got the kid in the gray zone, it's going to say see reverse. So that's the way I know that it's not telling me how many mils to give. I go and see reverse, and it would say for small infants, use the 4.2% half-strength solution at 2 mils per kilogram. So looking through here, what I've got is the regular bicarb and dextrose that you use for most size kids, And then in the back here, there's like these specially segregated things. The Joint Commission really wants us to make sure you don't accidentally use the wrong one. So they're in the special bag. It says refer to your dosing card to know when to use these. You open them up, and you've got the half-strength sugar and the 4.2% bicarb that'll be dosed, just like the card tells you to. Here, I'll show you on the dextrose as well. This is going to clearly show you, once the kid gets up into the yellow, start using the D50, in this section, the D25. In this section, again, it's telling you just how many cc's of each one to use in each situation. Yeah, so the final thing that we want to show you is, what if you had to dilute the drug before giving it? What's our so-called facility-wide standard concentration of magnesium? What if the Joint Commission wanted to know that? Well, the truth is that, we're pretty much giving all this stuff bolus dose, so the concentration isn't that important. My kid is purple. It says 1.05 milliliters. Okay, I'm sure 1 milliliter will do it, but in any case, you draw that up, and then how do I give it? On the back of the card, it will always tell you, if it's something you're not too sure about, how you're going to give it. So most indications, and we're talking like asthma here, dilute it in any suitable volume of D5 and infuse it over 10 to 20 minutes. So it's just really not important what the exact concentration is. If you got a 50 cc bag, use 50 cc's. If you want to use a 100 cc bag, use 100. It's not a big deal. For torsades, I hope you never see this, but supposedly you can just give it push. You can dilute it in whatever volume of solution you want to use so that you can easily do like a 1 or 2 minute push. So the card will tell you what to do, but in most cases the exact concentration just isn't going to be that important.